Series 2, Episode 1, The Dope Stroke. That's right, you thought you'd had us, you thought you'd lost us. We are back. We've got the three musketeers as always. Myself, Chris Trottie Golf. My man, Chris Ryan, who runs a phenomenal YouTube channel. He's got some stories to tell us about his cheeky little, shall we call it off-season? We will for the sake of the introduction. And then the Funkula Skunk, Mr. Daryl Evans, runs Rocket Yard Sports, the entrepreneur, one of my best buddies on the show, joining us as the third wheel. How you doing, McD? All good, mate?
Third wheel sounds appropriate for this show, so yeah, I'm great, thanks.
The reason we've got you as the third wheel and we have to cover it is because me and Big Bubsy thought we'd lost you there over the Christmas period. You have had a tragic time, my friend.
It's been horrific. I'm not going to lie to you, in and out of hospital a little bit, but yeah, for a second I thought I lost myself, to be honest. So the fact that I've been able to pick myself up off the floor to make this episode is fantastic. I'm obviously delighted to be here just so that you boys can take the piss out of me. So thanks for having me once again, boys. Much appreciated.
I think we knew it was bad when your wife had to text to say you weren't going to make the podcast. I mean, that was when we knew it was bad.
Do you know, I couldn't look at the screen on the phone. Like the brightness of the screen on the phone, a crack of light through the doorway, those things was like Robin Hood on prime peak form shooting an arrow through my skull. So I was absolutely delighted to finally overcome that whole incident that occurred over that festive period. But yeah, it's been hardcore, but you guys know me. I'll be all right. It's fine.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things I want to make the viewers well aware of here, and the listeners, obviously, is this is a podcast that you can find in all of your usual places, everybody. I don't need to list them. But Daryl is responsible for helping Chris and myself with our businesses. So Rocket Yard Sports is his business, and it helps us in terms of, I guess traditionally it would be viewed as an agent, but it's a lot more than that. It's strategy about the business. And I will say he's had both Chris and I extremely busy over the Christmas period. So just before you came on the call here on the podcast, both of us were saying that we're actually glad that it's got you man down so we can have a bit of time just to recoup and get ourselves together. And with that, Mr. Chris Ryan's been in Mauritius, I believe, something that you boys have been working on. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, that was the other side of Christmas. It was a kind of work stroke holiday trip. I was given an incredible opportunity, and you both will appreciate this, that when you're in the industry and you're doing what we do, you kind of know that there's going to be opportunities that arise, and sometimes they're better than others, and this was definitely one of the better ones. So I was asked to head out to Mauritius to a place called Constance Belmar Plage, which is the host of the final event on the Legends Tour season. So they call it the Race to Mauritius. The Legends Tour is basically the DP World Tour, but for, what should we call them? Elderly golfers? Senior golfers. You've basically got to be 50 to qualify. So if you're 50, you play the Legends Tour. This was the final event. And yeah, I was out there to kind of cover it a little bit, do some stuff with the players, get on the course, do some filming, and just get a bit of content, really. So use it as an opportunity to take the wife and the two boys. And we had a great time. Did some work, did some holidaying, and it was phenomenal.
Did you give us a story? Is there anything that really stood out other than trying to maintain the energy of twin children running around on the golf course? Like, how did you manage to?
He's taken the wife. He's taken the wife and his kids. I mean, there's got to be stories here. On a work trip, that's tricky strategy.
Yeah, that ain't. Yeah. But to be fair though, Chris, you are likely to be more under the thumb than the likes of Trottie or myself. So it makes sense to get your wife there.
Well, yeah,
just so she can keep an eye on you.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, it was. There are a few little stories, but what I will say is this was obviously an event. It was a Legends Tour. There were some big names there. So if you are of a certain age, you're going to know a lot of the players. People like Colin Montgomery, Michael Campbell, major winners, Ian Woosnam, great players. But it's obviously a little bit more relaxed. It's easier to get in and around. It's not like it would be at a PGA Tour event. So what I found is like the golf course was right next to the hotel. I would go over there with the boys and the wife, and the boys were like, came away from that week so pumped about golf.
Yeah,
they've just watched like former world number ones, and like that guy's won that massive golf tournament, and because we would see them at breakfast, we got quite friendly with a few of the players, and they would be great with the boys. They gave them signed golf balls, and just as as a dad who would love my boys to fall in love with the game, it was phenomenal. Like they came away absolutely buzzing about golf. It was great for that.
So let's stick on this topic because it's a good one, and I actually want your advice on this, Bubsy. Kids in the game of golf, how old? Just tell the listeners how old the twins are and how you are trying to fuel this. You're in a way better situation than a lot of people to expose your children to golf, as am I. I wouldn't say I'm having the most success with this journey, albeit this afternoon we are going to go and play golf with a friend of his and his dad, which is great. But give the listeners something that we can get the kids to take this game up.
So my boys are 6. They're just over 6. I've probably had them playing since 3, but obviously just really kind of casual stuff. And I've got my own views on what I want to do with them, which might be a little different to what other people think. I've made a massive conscious effort to, whenever I take them to play golf, I try to never, as best I can, never say anything negative, ever. Because I just think, if you took any young boy, young girl and got them into any sport, there is zilch chance that they're going to be good at that sport. So how easy is it to get my boys on the range and go, right, you don't hold it like that, you don't stand like that, you don't do that, you don't do that. Like, they're just going to grow up with like, don't, I'm not very good. So I never say anything negative. And what I've done, I reckon I took them when they were 3. They're now 6. I took Grayson on his own a couple of weeks ago to the range. He was 6. That's the first time I've really given him any instruction. My goal is get them having fun, get them to create some speed, play games with them, just to have fun with it. And I never tell them anything, not coach them. And whenever we go as a family, Nick will be like, why not helping him? Why not coaching him? I'm like, he doesn't need it at the moment. He just needs to like hit a ball, have that feeling of the ball come out the club face, see it going in the air and far, get really pumped about that, go back the next time, try and hit it further. So, yeah, I'm now just starting to sort of say a bit of coaching, but I'm just talking about like where to put his feet and, maybe a little bit about making sure his hands are like close together, just really, really simple. My goal is I want to develop skills with them. So speed, balance, strike, that kind of stuff, not technique stuff. Technique can come later.
My little guy is 10, nearly 11, twins as well, boy and a girl. Little girl will pirouette in the through swing. And literally said to me the other day, 6 months ago, again, I'm like, I like Harrington and what he says online. I've done everything he says about, I wouldn't say we're strict on soda, but we're those parents that like to think that we don't allow the kids to drink sodas and do all this crap. Golf course, you can do what you want. If we go, and I've recently just joined the golf course, and if you go, you can get the golf cart, drive the golf cart, have the soda, change some golf clubs. He was itching to get longer ones. Shock, I've got access to a lot of golf clubs. Piers Ward helped us and said, he just saw a video of Jacob hitting. My son's got decent sporting talent. Was like, listen, those training grips that Scotty Scheffler uses that you had on the little ones, get them off. I came to KBS in the workshop here, blew them off, put them back on the other set because Jacob's grip gets a bit off, so I agree with that. But he's difficult on a golf course. He continues to go. My daughter flat out said to me, please stop asking me to go. I don't like it. I don't want to go. It's not, I don't want to do this. This is your thing. I don't want to do it. What can I do? What can I do? She was polite about it. I'm like, you know what? Fine. Don't come. Do you want to drive the car? Not really. Don't want to go. Fine. So I'm down to 1 already. Now she might come back, but I'm down to 1 kid. And the tricky part is I do the Harrington thing and I'm like, you can get yourself a soda at the turn and eat some chips, crisps before we go out, do all that. And he likes that. And he started going for that. Now I'm bringing in a friend. We're going to play later, like I said, and there's a buddy of his going to be there who's actually a good little player. And the problem with Jacob, and this is a challenge that I have, extremely competitive, wants to play off the back tees with me, wants to play flat, no handicap, wants to not prepare his lie that it's better, doesn't want to use tees in the fairway or around the greens, doesn't want to redo shots, and will literally tell me, like, this is shocking, this is the worst game ever, what we doing here? And it's got to the point now, after like a year of trying, I'm just like, I want to tell you, mate, like, I've been doing this for 30 odd years and it beats you up. Like, can you not just try and have a bit of fun with this? Like, you're hitting it 150 yards, you weigh nothing, you're hitting the center every time, you're doing brilliant. He's like, yeah, this is shocking. This is like, why'd they put a water hazard there? I don't know, mate. They did though, didn't they? It's like, chill out. Just get another ball. You've got 19 of them in the bag. Hit another one. I don't care. He's like, yeah, but then I'm going to take a 6 here and you're making a 4. And it's like, Christ, don't worry. Like, I'm not keeping score. Don't worry about it. So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, but I suppose the challenge that the kids have is they've seen you guys play a lot of golf. So they think that you guys are that sort of average kind of golf. That's the standard. They don't realize how, in that top sort of 1% that you guys actually are. They don't see the difference from %2 to %100. So their reality is slightly distorted.
Yeah.
And also, Trotty, I've seen how you are on a golf course as well. Blimey. It's definitely colourful. I'll grant you that. It's possibly the most colourful golfer I've ever seen.
It's got a lot better, but I did tell Jacob, like, do me a favour, don't repeat a lot of what you hear here when you get back home.
Don't tell mummy.
I will tell you a quick story, and I guess we've got to move on. So where I take them, it's brilliant. There's a driving range and there's a par 3 course, and the holes are anything from like 40 yards up to like 100 yards. Really relaxed, no dress code, perfect. So I started taking to the driving range, and then, I don't know, I can't remember whether they were like 4 or 5. I was like, right, we're ready for the golf course. So they've got some clubs, they've got the little bag. So I've got them little bag ready, gloves, got some balls in. I've got myself a pencil bag. So I'm like, on the course, I'm like, I've dreamed of this. Like, on the golf course, playing golf with my boys.
Your kids, yeah.
I've got my clubs on my shoulder. We went out, we did 5 holes. I didn't hit a single shot. And it was chaos. It was carnage. And I'm like, they're not golf clubs, they're weapons. Like, I've got twins who are crazy with 5 weapons in a bag. And I'm like, and I've come off the course thinking, right, I'm not taking my clubs next time I go because I didn't hit a single shot.
Yeah. I did that at the start. I used to go to Goat Hill with the dog, no clubs. And the kids would be like, why are you not playing? I'm like, too difficult, not doing it. Anyway, but the reason I wanted to keep going on the kids is because I was very fortunate, and I just want to thank Los Angeles Golf Club, the TGL team, for this. I went out to TGL on Monday night, got there for Monday night, watched it Tuesday. Fantastic. In person, amazing. Obviously, I had extremely nice seats, but you know what? There's not a bad seat in the arena. But the reason this is a pivot point is because the first game that happened, which was a whitewash, Rory was there, Tiger was there, and it was the game, I think, Boston versus San Francisco, was it? I know it was San Francisco. Not sure who it wasn't Boston.
The Bay.
It was the Bay. The Bay is San Fran. And who did they play?
New York.
New York, yeah.
Okay. And Jacob had been at soccer practice, football for my English people, apologies, and came back, and it goes on for an hour and a half on ESPN, which is the network we get it on here. That was phenomenal. Scott Van Pelt ran point on that. Really good job. Gets in there, watches it. The last 30 minutes of it's on the TV. Jacob charges in. It's like 7-1 or whatever it was at this point, and engaged. So this new form of golf for kids that we are talking about, I think, is brilliant. My videographer Q learns to play golf through the pandemic, is now a 3-4 handicap, very accomplished golfer, is a good athlete, but very accomplished golfer. Doesn't know anything about what Bubsy started talking about, which I love, getting off on Woozy and the boys who are the old guys, but he has no history of that. So I have to say, like, Google Ben Crenshaw, Google Nick Faldo. He thinks this form of golf with the shot clock, brilliant. And I must admit, live, amazing. I'm not sure you make a connection with the teams when you watch it. I think you may be more caught up in the individuals, but I do think it's a poignant time to bring up the LA performance, exceptional. And with everything that's going on in LA right now, with the fires that are causing absolute chaos, it's nice to see a team on the East Coast that is coming together with a couple of LA guys in Sahith and Colin, and then bringing in the international guys, because LA is so transient anyway. And then obviously those guys putting it down there for LA and bringing that back. And the Los Angeles team are donating some proceeds from merchandise to help with that cause. It's very much in the media, as it should be here. But on to the case of the tournament, fantastic showcase, and just interested to get your take on it. Big success, I think, for Full Swing. There is some software stuff going on in there that people pulled up. Tiger hit the wedge that went over the green, and I think that's caused a bit of chaos. Kisner played shockingly. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this. Am I just talking about something that's polarizing in America? Darrell was in the Middle East. Did you catch it there? Was there a buzz? Any interest? No interest? Like it? Hate it?
I think for me, I really like it. I can definitely see how it's going to captivate that younger audience and possibly even captivate people that actually aren't golfers at all. I think it's just something different to view, especially on that day of the week as well across America where there's no real other sports being viewed. So I think that alone will help them drive numbers and drive an audience. I mean, I think the data I saw yesterday is that it had 3.2 million views, which is exceptional for any golf tournament, never mind, this sort of simulated experience in that arena. Across this side of the pond, I would say, and in the Middle East, because of the time it's on, I actually don't think that many people have viewed it compared to the US audience. If you look at it like as a percentage based on an average PGA Tour event, for example. But over here, it's still been very, very well received. I think from what I saw watching the coverage, I really, really, really like the alternate shot part of the game more than the individual. But I think it's because of the broadcast. So when you're watching the broadcast, you can see the banter more easily when it's the alternate shot. And you can hear them more clearly when it's alternate shot. As soon as it goes into the individual, I feel like for the broadcast, it just went a little bit more flat on the banter. But for me, as a viewing experience, I thought it was great. You know, the technology looks amazing. That green is just ridiculous. I mean, how good is that green? That green is quality. And as you say, because of the shape of the arena and how it looks, I can't see how you can have a bad view. Like every seat must just be epic. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a 1,500 seat stadium, right? So
I believe so, yeah. I believe
there's a lot of people in there. And if you can get that many people having that good of a view, I think it's brilliant. And I think it's definitely going to maybe alienate some of the traditionalists. But you know what? I actually think some of the traditionalists are really going to like it because it's that different. You're not really comparing apples with apples. I think it's
we
good.
had the SoFi host was a guy called Jack who met us on the entrance, and Jack got off to a hot start. Good lad, reminded me of Andrew Minegasque at TaylorMade. So he's a marketing guy there, and Jack lost a bit of energy and enthusiasm for the tour, but gave us a tour of the SoFi, the back room, and the weight training warm up area. Back in there was Tiger's right-hand man. Neil Hubman that runs LAGC was back there. We were taken through, then put into an entertainment section outside. And there's just room to do so much more with that. Obviously, right now, it's the place to be seen as well. And it had a feel, and this will relate to you, Darrell, and I don't know if it will relate to anyone listening, and we might have to give some context to this. But it had a feel, and you're going to really be surprised when I say this, because you know I'm a traditionalist. It had a feel of being under the tree at Augusta. You know what I mean? And that's really, really weird. But when you attend Augusta, there is an old tree that sits in front of the clubhouse.
It's by the first tee, isn't it?
It is a go-to place in the golf industry. And I hate to say it, but I do feel like, because there's no cell phones in Augusta, and you have to pre-plan your meeting place, it's iconic. And if you do get to work in the golf industry, this is a place that you want on your bucket list that you've been. And I'll add the Dubai Desert Classic to that. For me, I'll add the Hong Kong Open. For me, I'll add a Ryder Cup. For me, I'll add big events in Australia are brilliant. These are all places on your sports marketing tour player bucket list you want to do. And that tree is on there. And I'm going to go as far to say that this stadium and this event is getting into that list of places you want to do. And we've got Lloyd, bless him, not here this week. So we've got Alice on the production. Alice, let me timestamp this at 1937 for you as a clip, because I want this to be my official announcement and application that I want to be involved more with this TGL thing. So let's tag TGL. Let's tag the PGA Tour, as much of a freaking nightmare as they are to deal with, because I'm walking in there. And I'm seeing the boys from Good, Roger Steele, phenomenal job. Like, absolutely, first time I met him in person, complete legend, proper nice guy. And I'm stood there going, well, I'm like loosely involved with LA, GC, the team. And it's like, for some reason, we can't seem to figure out our arse from our elbow as to how I'm going to be involved in that, which I don't understand. Obviously, Full Swing, we've got this great simulator. The thing is phenomenal. Like, Alice, let's get this thing timestamped. Someone give me a job. I'm ready to go. I love TGL. Get me involved. You know what I mean? There's my plea. Contact Rocket Yards. hello@rocketyardsports.com, and Daryl will get this dialed in. I mean, let's go.
I mean, I've not seen that much of it, but like, do they need someone to rake that bunker? You could do that,
mate. They've got this. I've done it before. There is a technique to raking bunkers on the tour. I think if you go to what Johnny Watts' True Golf thing, you can see he actually did it on his YouTube. But they actually they use a unique rake to rake that bunker. Also, for Mr. Kisner, it's on a freaking downbank, the track. So, you know, everyone's going to give Kisner a hard time. The bloke's chipping cross-handed. He's got the yips. You can see he's in the booth. I mean, I've got nothing but respect for Kisner going out there doing that. He's got a short-sided bunker shot off a downbank that's been raked by this dodgy rake, some old geezer. I could be the raker. Give me the raker. And you know what? I want a Full Swing monitor out there, and I want a microphone, and I'll talk to you about my launch angle raking that trap. I just think it's a great thing. And I hate that I've been pigeonholed into wherever I am, because I think I can tell you more about that Full Swing product, more about what's going on than anyone out there. And all this BS I'm hearing about, oh, well, Tiger hit this wedge shot and it flew the green. But you've got to understand, it's 50 yards until you get to the screen. But no. What we're going to do is we're going to have some influencer out there just taking a selfie with the screen. Whatever. I'm over it. Surely we want some education around what this is, because I really do like the momentum, and I think it's going to be great.
I think it is going to be good. I think you should definitely send your CV through for an application for a job. So maybe they'll have a little job section on their website that you can click on there, Trotty.
Bollocks, mate.
But I think there's going to be more than one of these. Yeah. I think this is going to go. It'll be like the NFL almost, where there'll be home stadiums. Maybe we'll even be lucky enough to have one like that in London, for example, and maybe other places around the world, and do something quite significant. But that's where I see this potentially going. And if you look at all of the investors and all the high-profile people that are connected to TGL, you have to think that they will be looking at this in a way as to how can this be scaled? How can this get bigger? How can this be more popular? I think they've got to prove the concept still, and I can see Chris is burning to ask a question or say something really significant. But I do think, to close it off before I hand it over, is if they can really captivate that audience for a long enough period of time, I can see it growing into multiple stadiums. Far away, Chris.
I want to ask you both, because I can't foresee this happening in the next 5-6 years. You look at big sporting events, right? Whether it be soccer, whether it be NFL, whether it be golf, the biggest events that draw the biggest revenues, that draw the biggest audience, that draw the biggest interest, are super competitive, and people want to win. So how are they taking this forward? Because it started off with banter and joking and laughing. You're not going to turn it into this juggernaut of an event if the players are going there to have a bit of a laugh. It's got to turn into something that long term, maybe not in the next 10 years, but long term is as significant as a Masters or as significant as a Players. But if it's going to be to that level, you're not going to get the banter. And if they want to keep the banter, they're never going to get it to that level. So how are they going forward with this? What is their vision? What are they trying to do?
It's absolutely not intended to be as big as a Masters or a Players. It's not. That's a different section of golf. What it's intended to do is to enable you, the viewer, and our children to get into the game, but you, the viewer, to be able to connect more with the players. So Heath, now look, I've been around tour players. I've been close. I've worked with the clubs. No worries. I know a lot of them. I know most of them. He's here to the KBS sign away from me and hitting golf shots. And there's people waving flags and there's hype people in the crowd. It's not intended to be an Augusta. It's not intended. Yes, the players want to win. When Rosie made that putt and he gave it that one to Tiger, he wanted it. And that's what brings it. But this will be slightly reliant on the energy of the players. Rose did great. Tiger did great. Kisner did phenomenal. And the fact that he's relatable and played like that, brilliant. That made us all get connected. But Fitzpatrick the week before, I like Fitzy, good lad, but a hard environment for him to show his personality, because that's not who he is. He's quite insular. He's quite behind the scenes to get the best out of his golf game. I saw a podcast this morning, Subpar. The issue with the subpar stuff, or what they were saying, which was phenomenal. Colt Nose was talking about Rocker Media, and he was basically saying, like, Rocco was on the show. This day and age in golf, your personality, you probably are the best personality of the last 25, 30 years in golf. But the problem is, you ain't getting in this now because you're an old statesman. Where does it go? You know, you got Roger Steele there doing a phenomenal job. You would give Roger a set of clubs and off you go. The players, I believe, are under like a 2 or 3 season contract. It's if they continue. I know NFL stadium owners are interested in putting it around the States. I get that too. Maybe then the attraction of LA playing in LA is a bigger draw. I just don't see how the investors get the money out of the teams. I think it will grow. I think the TGL concept will go on. But I think, to get back to the original point, it's not intended to be a major. It's not intended to be a players.
I get that. But if it's not intended to be a major, then I don't know how you can keep. I mean, I'll use Rory, but he's obviously an investor. But someone like, let's say John Rahm is playing. How do you keep John Rahm going back every year for the next 15 years if it's just a bit of a jokey?
Son.
He's got to wash his hands, does he?
You know how you keep them all coming back, me old cheese.
All right, well,
money talks. That's how you keep them coming back, lad.
All right, there you go then.
But
if the ratings are great, the cash is going to be there. If the cash is going to be there, the boys are going to be there. At the end of the day, these boys are like musicians. Do you hate them for it? I mean, we're almost then going back into the Live PGA Tour conversation. When that is eventually figured out, which it will be, you're going to have Live versus PGA Tour in an arena. They'll be putting boxing gloves on. I'll be there, mate. Ref. I'm trying to. Hey, listen, we gave the announcement for the job earlier. Let's add this on now, Alice. This is 2711. I like monies.
Oh, man. I don't think... you are right, though. Show them the cash and they'll go. Money follows attention anyway. So the more attention this has, the money will follow. That's just how it's going to go. But I don't think... But hang on, wait.
They deserve the money.
No, I get they deserve. I'm all for that. But this, for me, it's nice that I'd like to see the games a bit more competitive with the scoring, but it's only been 2 rounds so far. But actually, this is an entertainment product in the same way that people go and watch a movie, or, I mean, look at the video game industry. People watch other kids play video games on YouTube, the games that they can play themselves. Like,
Bonkers.
that's nuts. I can't believe that. But for me, this is a total entertainment product. If you can do it with the best players in the world from the traditional game, for them, I think it helps their profile if they can demonstrate their personalities well enough through the platform. That can be commercialized in so many other ways for them. I mean, I personally think that I'm not looking at it through the lens of a competitive viewpoint. I want to know who they are. I want to know what they say to each other. That's the side that I'm interested in. I've enjoyed so far from the first 2 episodes. But it is a good point, though, Bubs, because when you watch it, it kind of feels like you're watching an NBA game. Just the sound almost seems similar. The commentary seems similar. But because of the nature of it, you still want to know what the scoring is in a more, I guess, a fast-paced way, which is probably why I quite like the alternate shot, because it seemed faster. It seemed more engaging. So I think if they can get that sort of process dialed in, I think it's going to be good.
Go ahead, Bobs.
I just want to say a quick point, because I think this is quite important when we're talking about new viewers and stuff. You've got this incredible stadium, which you've obviously been to, Trotty. So in terms of a golf spectacle that you can view, this is the high-tech pinnacle, right? You can't get more high-tech than this. You've got millions and millions and millions of pounds spent. And I think Darryl was saying you've got like 3.2 million viewers. I looked at it, averaged at 1.1 million viewers. Yeah. Which is great. And then the other end of the spectrum, I'm doing him a bit of a disservice here because I know there's a lot more goes into this. You got Grant Horvat himself and a camera guy filming with Tiger, 1.7 million views. Like, how crazy is that our sport now, you've got 2 literally ends of the spectrum. You've got a guy with a camera, 1.7 million, the highest tech stadium you can imagine, 1.1 million, and everything in between has got its players. When I was looking at it, I was thinking it's mental that you've got.
It's amazing.
Happening
It's
in golf.
amazing. And we're getting into the frickin' weeds here, lad. But it is amazing. And all I'm going to add in there is Grant Horvat. I think you've got to call Rick Shields the OG. You have to.
Yep.
And Peter Finch, having worked with him in this last 12 months, diamond. What a great bloke. Fair play to him. And I always thought he was a bit of a knob. And then I got to meet him properly, and I'm like, completely wrong. Great lad. And smart, switched on, good dude. Good player. Nice guy. Then you take Grant, who's learnt from these lads. You've got to put me and my golf in that category too. Yes, they've stayed in tuition and stayed in their lane, but man almighty, they were getting into this thing and I was looking at those two clowns like, you ain't going for it. This is not. So fair play. They got on Bitcoin early. Good on them. But with Grant, I don't think it really matters what you think of the guy. I think he has mastered what this is, and he's been able to navigate his way through at the right time in order to get his brand and channel in the right place. Like, I love TaylorMade and have been there for a long time, but that's been what social media is to Grant. So Grant is able to own the social media space, just like I was able to really have this media spot and voice for TaylorMade and build this in conjunction to a brand that needed to be in the space. That's how it's worked for me, but different generations. You know what I mean? But I think to your original point, it is phenomenal where we're at and the fact that we can sit here and we've been able to go into this realm that we're in, but it's only testament to you're a great coach, mate. You explain everything in a very calm, detailed way, concise, get it out on YouTube. You watch a video of yours, you know what you're getting. You're getting good information with no fannying about, and you can leave. And if you do it, you're actually going to improve. That's good. But you've only had the chance to do this because of the time we're living in. And I think that that's what you're trying to give kudos to. Anything else we want to add on TGL? Because if not, I've got some stories to tell you about my Australia trip that I had.
Oh, I hope it was colourful stories.
Okay, this is a good one. Well, we're on the youth, aren't we? So I want to just talk about an experience I had down there. So went to Australia, got sick. The whole family got sick with no intention of playing golf. That is nothing to do. Well, it is a little bit to do with this story. We end up going to go further down the coast. We're near Sydney. We go down again, and I meet this really nice fella called Brett Lowry. And Brett is adamant that he wants me to play golf with him. And I'm on vacation. I don't want to play golf. Like, my mind is not there at all. I have no golf clothing with me. I'm trying to focus everything on the family and the kids. I've literally just stopped praying to the porcelain god for 48 hours. And this fella turns out to be a typical Aussie, just an absolute diamond of a bloke. And he's itching for me to play golf with him. And obviously I've gone in there not feeling great. And I'm like, I can't be arsed with this. And then I spent like 25, 35 minutes with this guy, and I'm like, I'm going to play golf. He's such a nice guy. He so wants me to be there. There's no like, I got to go in and shoot 66. There's none of that. Let's go play golf. So he gives me some of his clothes. I only had a pair of like mustard yellow shorts. He produces this filthy pink FootJoy top. I'm like, okay, it doesn't go with the shorts. We'll go with it. Turns out he's the same shoe size as me. Chucks me these golf shoes. Again, the outfit wasn't the best. And I'm like, fuck it, we're not here for the outfit. Let's go. Get to the golf course, and he starts talking to me about a buddy of his. And this was amazing. This was one of the best things of the day, who is a test match cricket umpire, Aussie fella. And you can't now umpire a game for your own nation. So this fella spends most of his time in India or England. Cracking stories. Didn't really want to talk about it. Was kind of in the same world I'm in, that I felt like he was at home on holiday himself, and he doesn't want to talk about his job. But we started getting into it, and then after the round, Brett, who obviously Brett Lowry, so you're Brett Lowry, obviously you got to call him that. So Brett's like, well, you should ask Trottie about his job, and then we started talking about that, and all of a sudden the cricket umpire wants to talk about that, but it was good fun. Anyway, so we get there, and I'm like, right, I need to loosen up a bit, and Brett's like, no, don't loosen up here, mate. I'll get you a couple of cold ones. So we've drunk like 3 beers before we've teed off. He produces me this set of blades from this young kid, and like this 9-degree driver, a funky little 5-wood, bunch of old golf balls. I see a net. I wander over there. I've got a bit of a buzz on from the booze. Start hitting a few shots in the net. And he says to me, "Oh, we're going to play with this lad here and the assistant pro. Meet these two lads." And this kid comes out, big, strong, like country boy. His name is Jai Halls. I'm like, "All right, Jai, how you doing?" Becomes pretty evident. The reason we're here is because Brett wants to play golf with me, but also we're at Molly Muck Golf Club, which is a really nice little golf course. And he wants me to meet Jai. So Jai stands on the first tee, produces a 185 cruisy ball speed and smacks one down the middle. And he's got all the TaylorMade gear, and I'm like, all right, fair dues. Of course, I hit a freaking shaky squeeze cut down the right side in the shite, no worries. Brett Lowry swings one down there. We've thrown the balls up. Brett reckons he's off like a 15, but he's getting 160 shots versus Jai, who's a +6. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. So long story short, Jai goes on to produce a cruisy 6 under. And Brett Lowry, I came good around the turn. I started, of course, double bogey, and then got it together. I think I shot like 2 over with sticks that aren't mine, or 3 over, sticks that aren't mine. Literally seeing the back of Jai all day as he's 80 yards past me off the tee. And I'm just like, Jesus. And it goes on. This kid's quite a good player. Turns out this kid is helped by TaylorMade Australia. And I got a text message from the Aussie rep down there, Benji. You might know him there,
Yeah,
Daryl.
Benji.
And I've been in touch with Jai, and it basically says, well, I'll read you Benji's words exactly. It says, won't go on about knob, but the Benji dog has back-to-back Oz Am winners and back-to-back Oz juniors, with Jeff won the last 2 years. Of course, I just heart emoji'd that. And then the next message through was the Adidas Australian Amateur Championship leaderboard. Winner, Jai Halls, -13. Second place, -8. So this kid, Jai, who I've stayed in touch with, and they sent me a video message saying, and Benji's like got him in the net room there in Melbourne in the fitting centre, and he's like, how far past Trottie were you? And he's like, 80? He's like, yeah, just the 80. Which, look, I'm no slouch. I could only give Kevin Kisner his yardage on that TGL. But Jai Hall's name to watch, cracking little lad. Brett Lowry may be the best host in Australia. Awesome bloke. If he ever meets you and asks you for a game of golf, don't hesitate like I did. Simply take the pink FootJoy shirt and ask where the first tee is and drink every beer that he gives you. We actually had a good time. But these boys are good players down there. And the whole long story of this is obviously never go into something, even at our stage of the game. Like, golf's brilliant. It brings so many people together. What a great opportunity. We had a cracking time. But it came to me as I was chatting to Jai. It's hard to get from Australia to the world scene. We were talking about world amateur points. We were talking about Rocket Yard. And I was saying that should you go over to the European Tour School, my friend Daryl, agent in this world, will help you on your journey, will help you with accommodation, will help you getting you set up in Europe. Whether you will or not, Daryl, you are doing it.
Will I?
He's a mate of Brett Lowry, which means he's a mate of mine.
Oh, of course, Brett.
He's in the family, so you will be helping these boys when they want to come over to Europe, if they choose to do that. Yeah. And if they choose to go to American Q School, I'll figure that out too. But the bottom line is it's a long bloody way from pro golf. And as cracking as he is, I kept saying to him, you got to get into the big stage, mate. I think he's 20 years old. He had a few offers for university in America. He turned them down, which initially I was like, that's bonkers. And then as I got to speak to him more, he just wants his own path. He wants to do what he's doing. And I quite like the way he was going about it, but he's gone all in. I mean, he's put everything on black. He's got to make it as a golfer. Otherwise, he's going to be hosting pro-ams at Molly Muck Golf Club, probably, which is not a bad career. I'm happy with that. You'll have a nice time. There's a international cricket test match umpire that goes and plays golf there. Brett Lowry's there. You will have a nice life. But this guy's a gamer, and I'd love to see him progress. So what advice do you have for Jai, if he's listening, that we can get him hooked up for the European Tour?
I tell you what I do like is that he's finding his own path. He's been stubborn enough on the vision to go down that path, which I remember a few years ago when I was at TaylorMade, actually, and there was this young kid that sort of won on the Euro Pro Tour, and he was kind of like moving through the ranks. And I got asked by Piers and Andy, would I look after him from a TaylorMade perspective? And I was like, I've never heard of him. But he was moving forward. And I thought, why? This guy keeps popping up everywhere. So we took him out for dinner. I think we were in Ireland, maybe like a challenge tour event in Ireland, I think. Anyway, got chatting to him. and he was explaining his story about his journey with England Golf and how he felt like he had to walk away from England Golf because he didn't feel they were going to help him become a successful golf pro. He thought they were going to make him a successful amateur golfer, but he wanted to be a golf pro. And it turns out this guy went on to win some big events. I'll reveal the name shortly.
I already know the name. Jeez.
Well, the listeners might not know the name, you clown. You know, I'll tell you what, listener, do you know the name? Oh, hang on, we don't know, do we? Because they haven't heard the name yet. So all the pressure is now on the name. So let's just say he won the Scottish Open, won on the PGA Tour last year as well. And his name is Aaron Rye. It's Aaron Rye, for Christ's sake, it's Aaron Rye.
He's a gamer.
He is a gamer, and he's sneaky good. Like, he's really good player. When you see it,
I'll tell you what, he's sneaky. He's a sneaky good lad. When you see him on TV, you think, this kid's quiet. He's actually a sneaky good lad.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Do you think he knows your mate Brett? Is it Brett?
I think if he goes down to Australia, and I need to give Brett a phone call, Brett's helping out whoever we send down there. Such is the quality of the man.
Yeah, there you go. But the quality of the other man, Jai. A good route for him could potentially be through Asia anyway, the Asian tour.
Yeah, but he said that to me, mate. And it's like, Asia's not what it was 10 years ago. Plus, Jai's good enough just to bowl over to Europe and get a card there.
His best bet might be to go straight to the States for Corn Ferry. That's where you get the fastest progression with a decent level of income. Because once you start looking at Challenge Tour, the funding for the Challenge Tour itself is difficult to do. So sometimes,
yeah, but I'm backing Jai to get a 1 to 5 card from the school and get some tour starts on the European tour.
Q school's a no-brainer. I mean, you do the Q school anyway. Like, that's what you should do. As that's what you should do. Like, that's just what you should.
You're giving the same advice I'm giving then.
Well, we both work in the same freaking industry at professional golf level, so I bloody hope so.
I think the way forward here is Trotty throws him 150 grand. Gets the Trotty Golf logo on his bag and his cap. Done. Into the sunset. Relationship made in heaven. There you
go. I mean, Jai's my man. He's already coming out on the channel eventually when he's ready. I already boxed that off, boys. You're behind the 8 ball.
Oh, man. Product placement.
So I think as we've had a turn of the new year, it's only right that we discuss New Year's resolutions, lads. Or Daryl, you got something?
No, I will got something burning before we get to New Year's resolutions, which I think is a great segment to end on. I'm actually keen to know, based on the storyline of beers, which is a personal favourite of all three of us, except for Bubs, who likes a Cinzano. But with Trotty, what beer did you actually have when you were in Australia? Did you try something new? Is there a storyline around that beer with your boys?
Yeah.
Over there?
That's a good question. Now, I went to, and Adzi was my man. Adam Ledman, we stayed with. He took me to, I think it was called 4 Tons. Obviously, ours is good for coffee and beer. You know, the trip was so fragmented with being ill, but I think it was 4 Tons. I might have that wrong. Near where he lives. And the graphics, the artwork this place used for the beers was phenomenal. The only disappointing thing was when I went in there and asked who the artist was, they didn't know. How in a brewery can you not know? If your art is the forefront of the product that brings you in, how can you not know who the designer is? So, you know, that's why now I'm struggling to remember the name, because it might not have been that. Disappointed in the fact that they didn't know. But they had some good stouts and stuff, which I'd see that we stayed with. He likes a stout. The hazies were good. Obviously, I like a hazy. They were nice. But, you know, we got it was just a hard one to give you a full judge on, for the simple fact that I wasn't drinking as much as I normally would be because I felt sick the whole trip. But that was the standout one of the journey. I've actually hit dry January just to ensure that we're going to be okay here. And last night it was the closest I got to an alcoholic beverage in January so far. And I had a Guinness 0% alcohol. I actually thought it was good.
Yeah,
really
they're
good.
Nice. Yeah, they're good.
I didn't realise you could get Guinness so close without alcohol.
Yeah, now you know.
Yeah.
What about you, Bubs? Did you have any beers over that Christmas period, Bubs, or were you just scrambling around the kids?
Oh, do you know what? When it's winter, I'm not a big beer drinker. Like, I like a beer, but it's like summer, sun out, stuff like that. I like a beer. So winter, I'm more red wine. Like, glass of red wine, nice. So I'm more over winter, bit of time off work, a few bottles of red wine between me and the wife. That's more my bag.
To be fair, kind of makes sense, because out of the three of us, I mean, you are the posh one, right? You're like you're like Posh Spice out of the three of us. We just need two others. Trotty, you can be Sporty Spice. So we got that covered, but we got Posh Spice right here with you. Your
Who are you then?
Cinzanos.
Which one are you, knobhead?
I'm the manager of the group.
Oh, yeah, of course you are.
Shiny Spice.
Scary Spice. Yeah.
Shiny Spice.
Yeah, that's it.
Knobhead Spice.
Anyway, let's finish off. Let's talk about New Year's resolutions, as you pointed out, Troy. Chris, Bubs, I'm pointing at you, Bubs. What resolutions have you set, if any, at all for this year?
No, I'm not big into it. It's just a bit of a like. I do like to set goals and like push myself, but I just think just because the freaking number changes on a calendar, I don't see why that signifies when you should do it. So I think probably 2 to 3 times a year, I generally like sit in my office, take a bit of a stock take on what's what, and then like set some goals going forward. So I probably did it start of December when things started to get a bit quiet. Got a few things I want to do business wise, and I also this year, and again I decided this last year, like 2024 felt like my body just gave up on me, like really badly. Like back was starting to hurt. Hardly played golf last year because my back was bad. My shoulders have started to hurt. When I go to the gym, I can't do some of the stuff. So I've got to get myself physically better because like I want to play more golf. I want to play golf with the boys. I don't want to get opportunities to play certain things and do certain things and not be able to do it. So I've got to get myself sorted, got to get myself in the gym, stretching, training. Like I'm so unflexible. Like the other week, literally last week, I'm in the bedroom getting ready for work and the wife was there and I was like, Nick, you're not going to like this, but you're going to have to put my socks on for me. she was like, no chance, just walked out. I could not get down to my feet to put my socks on. It was that bad. So yeah, I've got to get myself sorted body-wise.
That is bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
It just goes like, so my back goes and then for about 10 days, it just gets slightly easier every day. And the more stretching I do, it just frees up. Like I'm okay now, but I've not hit a golf ball since middle of December. Just I can't.
Yeah. So, you say you don't set New Year's resolutions. Look, I don't either. But for some reason this year, I felt compelled to do it. I think a lot of it is Justin Thomas pops up a bit on my social feeds. Like him, hate him. I'm no real opinion on the guy. I think he's a good player, good for the sport. Obviously, very sort of stereotypical US golfer. But I've seen he puts them in his notes. And I think whenever you write something down or you say it in public, you have to commit to it. So I obviously set about, and I'm not going to read them all because some of them are a bit personal. But I ended up with 12 New Year's resolutions. Yeah,
one a month.
I wanted just things that I wanted to set about that I didn't like the way things were going. Number 12, I actually only added about a few days ago. And I think this is very relatable. I think it's poignant. And Daryl's done a great job with Trotty Golf and helping me get it established. But I think it's fair to say, and we haven't really spoken about this, so maybe going into it in public, I'm not looking for Daryl to really comment on this, but I've taken the sort of Band-Aid off. Obviously, I've gone into this world now where I've put a lot more commitment into my own personal brand. And I think that it's a bit like a hare out of a gate and you get chasing after it. And I've sort of realized I've made some decisions that maybe aren't for the benefit of me. And you chase something because you don't know where the benchmark is. And you there's an element of it, which is healthy, where you're like, shit, I've got to make this work. And then you go. And it's like, I'm like, hang on a minute, matey. Like, let's do some things that are maybe right for what you believe in rather than what you're just trying to do because you think you've got to do it. So that was one of them in as many different kind of wording as that. But it was like, get a hold of what you truly want and stay sort of true to what you do and feed things that you like. And this podcast, obviously, the more this goes on, I think the more comfortable we get with each other, we can do that. And I think a good one, there's a lot of golf goals in there, which there hasn't been for like 15 years. I used to be a decent golfer, and I'll be honest, I'm fucking horrendous now, and it's annoying. And it's like I'm properly putting some graft in, properly. The booze thing is in there because I was getting issues with a knee. I never had knee problems before, and I think it was the booze. I drink a lot. I like beer, drink a lot of beer. And it's like I'm literally dry January. No, not a lot in. I don't drink a lot in one session, but I drink it consistently. And I think that obviously the sugar then stays in your system. So like I'll have it each day, and that's after COVID, and I think that then it stays in the system. I think the sugar's high. So it was really cut that out, and then
hang on.
You're drinking beer every day. Let's just address that.
Drinking
five
beer
times, five times. Because the sugar stays in your system and then it gets in your joints. So it's not knee pain, it's joint pain. And basically, Bubs, I used to play a bit of indoor football, like five-a-side for us. And I'm going to stop doing that because I think that I'm not training. I'm just going to the games. And then that's causing non-recovery. And then after it, we go to the pub. And it's like, I'm just not recovering. So I've pulled the pin on that. So I mean, mate, Daryl, people out there drink beer every day. It's what you freaking do, mate. You can judge all the fuck you want. I'm not drinking beer right now. So I'm off that.
Well, I hope not, mate. It's probably, what is it, 9 o'clock in the morning? So if you're drinking a beer now, we should be concerned.
So I have some other...
He came in with a poppy seed muffin this morning, but very California.
I did come in with a poppy seed muffin, and I did come in with an iced coffee. I don't usually drink iced coffee, and I'm drinking it through a straw because I've had some stuff done on my teeth yesterday, and it was like sensitive, so I'm going straw, which I don't do. Don't like to do it. Doing it. Well, it is what it is.
This is very.
That's nothing to do with my fucking New Year's resolutions, though, is it?
We're going very off topic here, very off topic, but I'm actually going to preempt this to give you two time to get all your little jibs and your digs. Next week, I'm having my teeth done.
Oh yeah.
So
what you having? You off to Turkey?
I'm having that done, but not in Turkey. So I'm expecting loads of shits to come my way.
Oh yeah, we'll line them up.
We'll
do some research on the jokes. Yeah.
Do you having veneers put on in the full shamonkey?
Yes.
Bloody hell.
Go for it.
Well, they're not there. You know, your teeth. They're not that bad, are they? It's not exactly like a witch doctor's necklace down there, is it?
Well, it'll be better next week. Anyway, Dazzler, what are your resolutions?
Right, they'll be better next week. He'll be spitting all over the screen. Mate, he'll be trying to talk and he'll be flemming up on us. Jesus Christ, everyone will get on Bubsy's audio now because he's going to be shite next week.
Yeah.
I have got one more that I do want to take the heat off, Bubbles, so you can take the piss out of me now, and you will laugh at this, and it's come from our podcast, which is why I wanted to get on New Year's resolutions. Right, the rest of them, like I say, are golf ones. You can figure them out yourself. But this one, and I've been doing it, came, and I've been thinking about this. Scott Fawcett said to me twice, and he said the second one in an angry way. So I don't think he's doing enough of this either. But meditation, he was like, you got to get better at meditation. So I got that waking up app that he talked about, and I have, I'm on day 17, as it's 17th of January at time of recording. And I've done 17 sessions of it. I'd say I was good about day 12, 13. This morning's one I did was, it gets a bit wafty in parts. But look, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to try and do the full year. I've taken the subscription. My missus was like, Shell was like, what the fuck? What's this Apple payment come up for this? It's like, you can find a free app for meditation. I was like, you can, but I want to be accountable. So I'm doing it.
Fair play. Good for you.
There you go.
We're going to see, like, you're going to start, I can just see you now going, on the golf course now to calm yourself down, to stop you from throwing that club.
I'm going to be sat, the next episode, I'm going to be sat cross-legged on the mat here at KBS, just giving it one of them.
Do you know what you should do? You should get like that. You should grow the chin beard part here, and then you can braid it. That's what you should do. That's exactly what you should do.
I should do that.
Yeah. And then, like, I don't know, maybe start getting some, like, neck tattoos and stuff like that, and just, be one with the world. That's what you should do. Then you can be whoa. Then you can be Earthly Spice.
Listen, Knobhead, what do you do? What's your New Year's resolution? Grow some hair out that bonce of yours.
Well, mate, I'm just trying to get to the end of this year, like this coming year now. So if I could survive all the way, then I'm doing great so far. But I don't have any resolutions now.
Yes, you do. You're such a knob.
I've got one resolution. I've got one resolution based on what's happened over the Christmas period, and it's a shocker. I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to have to stop drinking actual caffeine. That sucks.
Can't do that. I can't do that.
It just does something in my stomach, or just above my stomach, and it's not good. So
is this what they told you when you had your butt hanging out at the hospital?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my cheeky cheeks. I got them hanging out, and they said, "Yeah, caffeine, get off that shit." That's what they said to me.
Caffeine in tea and everything.
In everything, Diet Coke, it's all sorts of things. Yeah. So I've got to try and go for the decaf option. Hopefully it's just temporary, but right now I've got to lay off the caffeine. That's what I've got to do. So as resolutions, and that's not even a resolution. That's just something I've got to freaking do. I didn't plan
No
to do that.
caffeine, no
I didn't
beer.
want to do it. Well, beer, I'm not stopping drinking beer.
No, Trottie's not drinking beer.
I'm drinking beer tonight. I'm out with the school dads tonight. We're going to have some beer.
Oh, you're going out tonight, are you?
Yeah, and an Indian. Got an
Can't
Indian
go
on
out
the way.
tonight. You can't drink beer tonight. What are you doing?
No, I'm golden. I'm golden. Don't you worry about me, kid. You just worry about your earthly little meditation sessions.
That's the resolution this year. It's all about my health. I'm going to cut out caffeine, but tonight I'm going to have a curry and beers.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Cut
Cheat
that
day.
out rather than caffeine.
You've got to replace the caffeine with something.
So there you go.
Anyway.
That's it. There's our New Year's resolutions. We're putting the world to right on TGL. We've got an Australian coming out onto Rocket Yard Sports, going to get it done for us. And Bubsy's off to Turkey. I mean, is there anything else that I think we've hit this brand new series with an absolute fire episode. What do we have in the future, Daryl? I know that we've been warming up a couple of guests. What do we have in the future?
Yeah, we are going to get some guests together. We're putting a few things together over the course of the next few weeks, which is exciting. Obviously, next week's the PGA show, which yourself, Trotty, you'll be there. I'll be there as well. So we've got a busy week lined up for next week. And then the week after that, we'll be back to talk about some of the elements on the show and potentially with a guest. So look out for that as it comes. As usual, though, guys, to end off the show, if you've got any queries, things you want to talk about, please feel free to drop us an email. The email address is hello@dopestroke.com. Please send that through. That'd be great. Any feedback you've got would be super welcomed. And of course, you can follow us on all the usual places, Apple, Spotify, just put it straight in there. Dope Stroke Show, you'll find us. And again, you'll find us on YouTube and Instagram. So check us out, guys. It'd be good for you guys to follow us. Check us out, and hopefully you have a good time. Other than that, we will see you in the next episode.